After leaving Love Island, you could clearly see a gap and a separation between myself and my other counterparts. The opportunities that they were being given, the stuff that was coming their way, I wasn't getting the same amount. And do you know what? People used to say, you're going to have to work twice as hard. And I was just like, do you know what? I'm doing really well. I like my whole journey so far, but coming out, I'm like, yeah, this is real. It's so real. I do have to work twice as hard.
Hey, thanks for joining. All we're going to do is, I'm going to say a phrase, and all I want is your reaction to the phrase and then an explanation to your reaction. So the phrase is, the UK is not a racist country.
That is just such a weird, backwards, ignorant, ridiculous statement. I think if you truly believe that, your head is in the clouds, or you do not actually see the plight of Black people.
Please. I don't know what rock you've been hiding under, but racism is very apparent. But with the UK, a lot of the racism is systematic racism.
From where I come from, Southeast London, I've been exposed to some awful things. I've been stopped, I've been harassed, I've been abused, I've been this.
That doesn't mean to say that the UK as a whole is racist. Everybody in the UK is racist, because that is not true at all. But it is a place where, it's sad to say, a lot of industries are propped up on this ideal that, you know, Black people are less than.
Our economic structure was built on slavery. Like, we have slave owner statues hanging about. Like, you cannot tell me that this country is not racist. I'm tired of that.
I'd love for it to be completely false. Do you know what I mean? For it to be, completely true that this country wasn't racist. But I think this country is, and a lot of places are. And I think, we've all just got to accept that before we can start sort of moving forward, I guess, in any way. A lot of the time, being young and Black and male in this country is sort of people just assuming the worst of you in the most benign situations. Do you know what I mean? Whether that's someone, if you're walking too close behind someone, it's like they think you're following them, or you're going to buy something in a shop, they think you're about to rob a place, and it's just strange. And it's like, no matter what you do, no matter how polite you are, you'll often come against those sort of really quite hurtful presumptions.
And I remember when I had my hair out natural, and people would be like, "Oh, your hair looks like pubes," and these were my friends. My hair looks like pubes, apparently. And I was like, just tell me you don't. Just tell me you're racist. Just tell me you hate me and move.
There was times I've gone to castings. There were times I've gone to open calls for agencies, and I always get, "Oh, you're not quite what we're looking for," or "You're not the direction that we're heading in at the moment." And that's obviously because I'm Black. Like, it's fine, just say it. We have one Black girl on our books, and we don't need another one right about now. Like, we've ticked the quota.
I think every Black person's got an experience where they have, experienced racism in the UK. Probably me more recently would be, walking into a shop, and I was very well dressed because I'd come from a meeting with a very important client, and age old thing where the security guard followed me around, and I actually turned around and said, "Can I help you?" And he stopped me, and I'm not even gonna lie, 2 minutes after that conversation happened, the alarms went off, and it was 2 young Caucasian girls who had stolen some lipsticks and eyeliners.
I've not experienced necessarily what people would term overt racism, which is being called the N-word or racially profiled, so on and so forth. But I have experienced covert racism in terms of the educational system, like people touching my hair unwarrantedly, people making fun of my name for no reason, the trauma that comes with being Black, just waking up every day seeing a new death or someone that looks exactly like you. All of this stuff takes a toll on the Black woman.
I remember being in Primark and seeing a young Black man get arrested for shoplifting, And the police came and they were like kicking and punching and all that stuff, like very unnecessarily. And I was with a family member who kind of said to the police, like, please stop kicking him, he's not resisting arrest. At which point they kicked her in the back of her legs, she fell to the knees, got arrested. And this is purely for pointing out the brutality of the arrest. It was so undignifying, watching the kind of pool of black in her trousers as she wet herself just from being shocked and scared. And it's probably one of the most scared times I had growing up.
I was on a night out. It was the end of the night. We had got a McDonald's. We were walking to the bus stop, and then this man saw me, a white man, and then he kicked the bus stop right where my face was, and then held his fingers, I'm not kidding, held his fingers in a gun pose and went, I should kill you. And I was like, with my McDonald's, like, oh my, yeah. Because like 1 second I'm eating chips, the next moment I'm being literally like verbally attacked by a guy who's bigger than me and looks like he's about to take me down. So yeah, that was not good.
had so many stop and searches when I was like 14. I was going to a Halloween party. I lost my friends off, didn't have any phone credit or anything, because this was the days where there was no contract. It was like a 5-day pass. If you know, you know. So I didn't have no phone credit or anything. I lost them. So I think I know where it is. I'm walking. Next you know, a big old van just rolls past. 4-man jump out, pin me against the fence. All boof, searching man, touching man up and that. Like, I'm 14. I'm a child. I'm not an adult. Touching me up, trying to search man. Didn't tell me no name, no badge number, no unit. Why they're stopping me? For what reason? Like, I'm 14. I'm there petrified. Even took my Afro comb as well. And I was pissed with that because it was a plastic Afro comb. It wasn't even a metal one. So they had no right to take the car. It's plastic. But they're just trying to be pricks.
We don't get it, shut down! If we don't get it, shut down! If we don't get it, shut down! If we don't get it, shut down!
I think people believe that the UK is not racist for several reasons. Firstly, because there are countries with a far larger problem with really overt racism.
Everyone thinks that it's like someone going out trying to lynch someone or something like that. They think that because they're not like outright like in your face doing it, then it's not, but then they'll just show their prejudice through like other means.
Well, Britain's history in inventing the idea of white supremacy isn't addressed. Like, we paint people as heroes when we should at least be discussing the other side of what their legacy is.
We paint people as white saviors instead of holding white people in this country accountable for what they've done,
which gives people a false sense of unadulterated British pride, which then trickles down into seeing other cultures or other people in the UK as inferior. That's a lot more insidious because it's not as tangible for people to understand. Because I'm not laying there dying, it doesn't mean I'm not suffering.
I think more so now than ever, we've got lots of great black role models, like from like Stormzy to like, I don't know, Zadie Smith to like, I don't know, Clara Amphone and stuff like that. And you'll see these people's success, and then people will tell themselves like, oh, well, these guys are doing well, so it's fine for everybody else. Not thinking that, like, the reason we love, you know, Zadie Smith, the reason we love, you know, the Clara Amphones, you know, all these sorts of people who are great success stories is because there's so few of them. And I think that white people don't often realise those people are one of very few. And I think also just people are very willing to sort of pat themselves on the back because they sort of think, well, I didn't leave the house in a Ku Klux Klan costume today, so I'm not racist.